Okay, in this topic we will be multiplying and dividing mixed numbers. Four main objectives are: identify the whole number and fractional parts of a mixed number. 2. Write or express mixed numbers as improper fractions. 3. Write, express improper fractions as mixed numbers, so these are the reverse. And then multiply and divide mixed numbers. So let's start with our first one. Identify whole numbers and fractional parts of a mixed number. So what do we mean by that? Consider we are given a fraction. Let's give example 1. And our fraction will be 7 and 2/5. That's our fraction. Okay, now because that is our a mixed number or a fraction, people call it fraction, mixed number. But the proper word would be the mixed number because it is mixed. So now, why do we call this a mixed number? Well, because this is the mixed number. Right, this is the mixed number, and this mixed number is comprised of two things: a whole number and the fractional part, or the whole number part and the fractional part. So therefore the whole number part will be this 7 or whatever is in the front here, and then the fractional part will be this which is above the line. So we have 2/5. So this is plus, you could say, in other words, that 7 plus 2/5 is actually 7 and 2/5. So mixed numbers can be represented by shaded regions if we wanted. We could break up something, all right, but for right now we're just going to be dealing with numbers. Now note carefully, and I must warn you, note that 7 and 2/5 means 7 plus 2/5, even though the plus sign, this plus sign here, symbol, is not written. Do not, okay, do not confuse 7 and 2/5 with 7 and the little dot, which means times 2/5, or 7 and times 2/5. This means times, this means times, but this is not times, this is addition, which indicates the multiplication of 7 by 2/5. Major things. So take note of this piece here, okay? Very, very important. Do not confuse them. All right, so let's go with a few examples. All right, and then we will be working with some other stuff. So take a next example, B. If I have a mixed number, say for example we have negative 2.5. Now this is working with negatives. It is just as working as with positive mixed numbers. For example, the mixed number negative 2.5 could be used to represent 2.5 3/4 as positive value. All right, so let's think of this as to say as negative 2 plus negative a half. That's what this means. So any mixed number which is a negative is the whole fraction, not just this whole number here, but the whole number and the fraction, they are both negative. That's why you call it mixed number. Okay, so this is our first point, identifying the mixed number. So this is the whole number, this is the fraction for a negative number. So This is our first objective, which I believe we have covered there, very clear. Now we will write mixed numbers as improper fractions. How do we write a mixed number as an improper fraction? Let's use this same numerical value here. Okay, we could use any other number, but let's use that number and see what then happens. So we have here C. So for our purpose, we're going to be write mixed numbers as improper fractions. So we have 7 and 2/5. This is to say as 7 plus 2/5. We can write the mixed number as a sum, first thing. Now this has a very shortcut method, and it also has a long method if you want to break it down. But in order to obtain the result with a far less work, this is the way you are going to change a mixed number to an improper fraction, and then we will get to understand what's an improper fraction and why we call it an improper fraction. So first of all, simplify the 7 by the 5, and then add the 2 which is on top to get the new numerator. So let's do that. So this becomes then 7 times 5 plus the 2 over the 5. This 5 is saying this 7 times this 5, which is here, that means times, plus this top value, which is a 2, over this 5. This 5 is a denominator. Okay, this then brings us 35 plus 2 over 5, which is 37 over 5. This is our improper fraction. Why we call it improper fraction? Because it is improper in the sense that it has a bigger number at the top. Okay, so when writing a mixed number as an improper fraction, these are the rules. So this is mixed number to improper fraction. These are the rules. So to write a mixed number as an improper fraction, 1, multiply the denominator of the fraction by the whole number part, and you already know what's a whole number part in a mixed number. 2, add the numerator of the fraction to the result from step 1. And what's step 1? This is the step 1. Okay, and then 3, write the sum from step 2. This is the step 2, the sum that you get over the denominator. That's all you need to do. So to change any mixed number to an improper fraction, you will then say multiply the denominator of the fraction by the whole number. So it's the denominator times the whole number, and then add the numerator of the fraction to the result from step 1. So whatever result you get here, you will then add it on to the numerator, and then you're going to write that sum over the denominator of that particular problem. Okay, so let's do a next example. Here's an example D. Consider that you have now 3 and 5, 6. right? We will use step 3. Okay, so we can use this step 3 and summarize everything that we want to find the improper fraction. Why? Because it is the faster than writing this as, oh sorry about that, I cannot see the problem. Okay, so this is the problem 3 and 5 6. What happens that we can apply these two methods, but we're going to go in the shortest method, which I just showed you. So by the order of operation, we're going to do this: the whole number times the denominator, or multiply the denominator by the fraction. Okay, so you get this. So you say 6 times, you may use a dot or you may use brackets if you want, if you feel more comfortable. Bracket over plus the 5 over the 6. Remember, this 6 is this one here, and this 6 is the denominator. So we multiply the denominator of the fraction, by the whole number part, which we have set up here. Then add the numerator of the fraction to the result. So we do that. We now say 6 times 3, 18, plus 5 over 6. This now gives us 23 over 6, and that's our solution. That is getting a mixed number to an improper fraction. Now, if we can go from a mixed number to an improper fraction, we should go now from an improper fraction to a mixed number. So let's go from an improper fraction to a mixed number. Okay, I don't want that to affect you. Let me use the next page. If we have any fraction, okay, if we have any fraction, we're going to write that improper fraction as a mixed number or a whole number. Why? Because the value at the top, or the numerator, may be divisible evenly by the denominator, so we have to be careful with that. Right? So let's do an example. Consider that you have a value as 9 over 4. Okay, so this is going from improper fraction to mixed number. To write an improper fraction as this, as a mixed number, we must find two things. You must find the whole number part. Why the whole number part? Because we all know a mixed number has a whole number and a fraction. Okay, and the fractional part of the mixed number. So we're going to do that. To develop a procedure to do this, let's consider the improper fraction 9 9/4 for our example. Okay, to find the number of groups of 4 in 9, that's the next way of saying it, we will divide the 9 by the 4. This will find the whole number part of the mixed number, and the remainder is the numerator of the fractional part of the mixed number. What does that mean? Well, in simple terms, we're going to do this. We'll take the 9, our division sign, put our 4 here. 9 divided by 4 will give us 2. 2 times 4 will give us 8, and you subtract, you get 1. Okay, then the remainder is the numerator. So let me write this piece here now. I'm gonna have to put this here as 2 and 1/4. This is this fraction, this improper fraction, as a mixed number. This 4 is the divisor. The divisor is the denominator of the fractional part. We have established that. This 2 here, let me show you, is the whole number part, and this one, I put this straight through there, goes here, there. Okay, so just do it a thicker line here. I should use a different color pen, but I only have blue and red. Okay, this one here, or whatever you are left here, is the remainder. The remainder is the numerator of the fractional part. So if we have a mixed an improper fraction, we'll take the top value, which is the numerator, put it inside, and the denominator goes outside, and you will say that top value divided by the denominator, and you get a whole value. That value will now say 4 times 2 will give us 8, and then you subtract that 8 from 9. Why? What does this 2 mean? This means that there are two groups of 4 in 9. Okay, and that you are left with one extra value, which means that you can use. So rules for getting an improper fraction to a mixed number. I'll give you two rules. One, divide the numerator by the denominator to obtain the whole number part, which we did here. Okay, and then the second part is to the remainder over the divisor is the fractional part. So that is how you will get it to those values. Let's try a few examples. So we have a few more examples on this because this is very, very important for us to understand. Let's consider next example. We have 31 over 7. How do we change that? Well, divide the numerator by the denominator and write the remainder over the divisor. Why? Because the fraction part indicates the division. Okay, so we start. We say now 31 divided by 7. 31 divided by 7 will give us 4, which gives us 28. 1 take away 8 can't, so we borrow 1 from the 3, that becomes 2, and 1, so it's 11 take away 8, which is 3. 2 take away 2 is 0, so we put that at 0 if you want. Now this means that 31 over 7 is written as 7, 28, 7, and we get now 4 and 3/4. This means division. This 3 goes at the top, this 4 comes here, and sorry about this 7. I'm writing that down, so that means 7 goes here. This is the denominator. Remember, you keep the denominator down there. That will not be last. What will change is the whole number and the top value. Right, so let's try the second example. Consider that you have 50 divided by 26. Okay, now this one here is the same concept as this. One of the things I can advise you is that if you see this number here that it can be reduced, reduce it right away. Then you change it to a mixed number. If not, you work it just like this. This is both of them are divisible by 2. So 2 into 50 will give us 25, and 2 into 26 will give us 13. So this is our new improper fraction. To get this improper fraction to a mixed number, we're going to say 25 divided by 13, and that gives us 1. 13 take away 25 gives us 12. So this as a mixed number will be 1 and 12, 13. Okay, you could have reduced it here and then proceed. If not, or let me show the other way to work it out. If you had said 50 divided by 26, then this would have happened. 26 take away from 50 will then give us here will give us 4, 3, 1. Okay, so we have here, take away from here will give us 4, 4, 2. Okay, so here we have now, notice here this is talking about 26. This doesn't look like 13. So what then happens? So nothing is wrong with your working. So what you will do, what you would have done now is that you would have said, well, 50 over 26 as a mixed number is 1 and 24 over 26. But this fraction part, let me write it in red, 24 over 26. This fraction part can be reduced. So when you reduce this fraction part to lowest terms, this becomes 1 and 12, 13. So that's what happens, reduce. Okay, so either you work it, reduce it here, or you reduce it at the end. It doesn't make any difference. Okay, it will work out the same. Let's try 2 more examples. Okay, let me try on this side. So consider that we have now, say, 51 over 3. This looks like a big number. It's not a problem. We take 51 and we divide it by 3. 5 divided by 3 will give us 1, which is 3. Take away from 5, 2, bring down the 1. Notice how here we did not just take this 2 and put this as the remainder, because you still had a value here. So 21 divided by 3 will give us 7. 7 times 20 times 3, 21. That means 0, 0. So this is saying that 3 goes into 3 into 51 will give us 17. Or as a mixed number, if you were to put it, would be 7 and 0 over 3. But that doesn't make sense, because 0 over 3 would then be what? 0, this piece. And then we can say that 17 plus 0 over 3 is still 17. So therefore your most proper or most appropriate way to write your answer would be 17. Now let's try the last one as a negative value. Negative 10 over 4. Okay, we're going to divide that. Because this can reduce, my advice is to reduce it. So then this becomes negative 5 over 2. Because 2 into 10, 5, 2 into 4, 2. Notice the negative sign remains there. Okay, now the negative is part of the top and the bottom, in other words. So disregard the negative right now. Just put the 5 divided by the 2. 5 divided by the 2 will then give us 2, which is 4, 1. So 1 is the remainder. So this is saying that it's 2 plus half. But remember, it's the whole improper fraction, which is negative. So you put a negative here, open close bracket, which is still negative 2.5. So that is how we get that value. All right, so we have been able to change those numbers. Now we will multiply and divide mixed numbers. To multiply and divide mixed numbers, the first thing to do is the mixed numbers need to be changed to improper fractions. So let me put the main rule. Multiply and divide mixed numbers. Steps. Okay, so first thing, to multiply or divide mixed numbers. You should write this down in your notebook. First, change the mixed numbers to improper fraction. However, if they are already in improper fraction, then you can skip this piece here because you can't change it to improper fraction. Then perform the multiplication or division of the fraction, and then write the results or result as a mixed number or a whole number. Why a whole number? Because remember we said an improper fraction can be changed to a whole number, or a whole number can be changed to a fraction in simplest form. So that's the rule for multiplying mixed or dividing mixed numbers, right? So let's try a few. Consider an example. We have 3 and 1/3 times 2 and 1/3. We need a strategy. We will first write the mixed numbers and whole numbers as improper fraction. So, and then, or why? Because we need to use the multiplication to multiplying two fractions, which we have done before. So write it as an improper fraction. This becomes 3 times 3 plus 1 plus 9, 10 over 3 times, this is now 2 times 3 plus 1, so this is 6 plus 1, 7 over 3. Here we will use the rule for multiplying two fractions. Multiply the numerators and the denominators. In other words, numerators with numerators, denominators with denominators. So we have here 10 times 7, 3 times 3, which is 70 over 9. And you can leave it as that if that be the case that you want it as an improper fraction, or you already have it as an proper fraction. You can take an improper fraction and change it to a mixed number. That should not be a problem. Alright, so either way, just make sure that whatever you are being asked, you do that. So if we want to change the 70 to a mixed number, what do? Well, we're going to take now 70 divided by 9, and 9 times 7 will give us then what? 9 times 7 will give us 63. Subtract that gives us 7. So therefore this could be written as a mixed number, as to say 7 and 7/9. So this is a mixed number, this is an improper fraction. So either way it is still acceptable. Okay, two more examples on this piece here, multiplying, dividing. So let's say we have 9 and 3/5 times 3 and 3/4. This is not a problem. We should remember this means times also, so this same thing as this. So let's go. 5 times 9, 45, or 9 times 5, 45, plus 3, 48. So we put 48 over 5, and then we say times 3 times 4, 12, and 3, 15. So it's 15 over 4. Now what can happen here? Well, we can reduce if we want to at this point. So if we want, we can reduce our values so that they become smaller for us to work with. What does that mean? Well, let's take and break up the 48 if we don't see it. We can say that 48 is actually 2 times a value times the next value, or you try to see what numbers you could work with here. And so you can say that 4 times 12 times 5 times 3. The 5 times 3 is the 15. The 4 times 12 is the 48 over 5 times 4. Notice what we will cancel now. The 4 with the 4, the 5 with the 5. This now gives us 12 times 3, which is 36, over 1, which is 36 as a whole number. And that would be the solution for that one there. Okay, so nothing complicated in there. Now consider that you have a different fraction. This one here, you have to be careful. You have negative 4 and 5 6 times 2. What do we do here? Well, don't worry about it. Just remember, we have a negative times a positive. What will be the sign? It will still be a negative, so that's the main thing. So first thing, change this mixed number to an improper fraction. 4 times 6, 24, and 5, 29 over 6. Remember, it's negative, right? You can put there bracket, bracket, and get the whole number as a fraction. That becomes 2 over 1. Now put this here, and then we can say, well, 2 going to 2 and 2 going to 6 3 times. So now we have 29 times 1, 29 times 1 there. That will give us 29, and 3 times 1, 3, but it's negative. Very important, you cannot leave this out, right? And then you could change this to a mixed number, which is then 29 divided by 3, which is here 9, 27, giving us 2. This means that this is or negative 9 and 2/3 as a mixed number, but you must keep your negative sign in there, otherwise it will be wrong. Okay, so that's about it for that one there for multiplication. Okay, now for the multiplication part, for the division part, this is a little bit tricky, so let's use this. Let's use some very simple fractions. So we're gonna have an example: negative 3 and 4/15 divided by, remember we were doing the multiplication before, right? By that strategy. Do we have a strategy? Yes. Let's convert them to improper fractions. That's the first step you need to do. Okay, so convert it to an improper fraction. 3 times 15, 45, and 4, 49 over 15. It is still negative. Okay, divided by bracket 2 times 10, 20, and 1, 21 over 10. It is still negative. So we have written the two mixed number as improper fractions. Now use the rule for dividing two fractions and then multiply this value by the reciprocal of this value. Okay, and remember the reciprocal of this value would then be what? The same value inverted and also negative, because remember the note we said reciprocal and opposite are two different things. Okay, so let's put here. So we say now negative 49 over 15 times, you can use the bracket if you want to, negative 10 over 21. Okay, so we can use that. Now we can divide right away if we know what values go in there, or we can break it down into simpler values. So let's break it down. Well, we know that this negative times this negative, or negative divided by a negative, will give us a positive, so we know that that's out of the question. We can express 49 as prime numbers, which is 7 times 7, and then we can say, well, 10 is what? 2 times 5. 15 is 5 times 3 times 21 is 7 times 3. So what can we cancel out? 5 5 7 7. That's how we could cancel. This now gives us 7 times 2 14, 3 times 3, that will give us 9. And this could be changed to a mixed number by saying 14 divided by 9 195. Okay, so or 1 and 5 nines. Either way it is still correct, but be careful. If they ask you express your answer as an improper fraction, this is wrong. This will then be the correct answer. And if they tell you express your answer as a mixed number, then this is correct and this is wrong. Okay, one more example. 5 and 3/5 divided by 7/8. Well, let's change him to an improper fraction if we can. If it's already as a fraction, leave it as a fraction. 5 times 5 25, and 3 28 over 5 divided by 7/8. Okay, you will then bring the first fraction 28 over 5 times vert the second one, which is 8 over 7. This now becomes 28 is actually 4 times 7 times 8 over 5 times 7. Can we cancel anything? The 5, the 7 and the 7. This now gives us 4 times 8 32 over 5. Or as a mixed number, we can put here 32 divided by 5 6 30, subtract it 2, so that becomes or 6 and 2/5 as our solution. So what we have gone through today, or in this video, we have been able to identify the whole number and fractional part of a mixed number. We have been able to write or express mixed numbers as improper fraction, as well as write or express the improper fraction as mixed numbers, and we have multiplied and divided mixed numbers. Okay, those are the points which we have done.